Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into something pretty powerful and, honestly, pretty moving. We're going to be looking at the love Laurent Chenot has for his family.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I was really struck by this interview. It features Laurent, his mom, Béatrice, and his spiritual father, Marius.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to get lost in the headlines and the controversies, but today we're taking a step back from all of that
Right.
to see the strength of these family bonds, especially during the tough times Laurent's been through.
It's amazing, this interview, there's a lot of raw emotion in it, but throughout it all, you keep coming back to this theme of love.
It's really palpable.
Yeah, you really feel it, especially when they talk about Béatrice Clairet, Laurent's mother.
It's just incredible. She's not just, a supportive presence. When things were really falling apart, she took charge.
Oh, yeah.
The interview mentions she stepped in to handle Laurent's finances when he felt totally alone, like everyone was against him.
It's wild.
She even protected him from, potential financial ruin.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, I'm here for you. But she put action behind her words.
And that unwavering support, it seems like it was absolutely critical for him, especially when he felt so isolated.
Oh, yeah.
She really becomes this anchor, this stabilizing force that allowed him to get through it all.
Was it the storm? Yeah.
Exactly.
And when she says, Je serai toujours là pour toi, which means I will always be there for you.
It's so powerful.
It's simple, but so powerful, and it's so clear that this bond goes so much deeper than just these recent difficulties.
Oh, absolutely.
They share a love for detective stories.
Uh-huh.
Beatrice is, apparently, an expert in Egyptian history.
Wow.
There's so much richness to their shared history.
Absolutely, yeah. It speaks to a lifetime of connection, all these shared experiences, shared interests. That's the foundation of their relationship.
It's not just about being there in a crisis. It's about a deep, abiding love.
Yeah. And then we meet Marius Sehounko, Laurent's spiritual father from Benin, and he brings this whole other layer to the conversation, this cultural element.
Absolutely. Marius really emphasizes how deeply important mothers are in Benin culture, the respect and reverence they hold.
Yeah.
It just gives you this deeper understanding of Beatrice's role in Laurent's life.
Definitely. And for you, as someone who's familiar with Laurent,
Right.
you probably find it interesting how this cultural perspective really aligns with his own, deep respect for family.
Right.
It's not just a personal value for him. It's woven into his upbringing, the traditions he holds dear.
Yeah. And it's clear that Marius has really stepped into this paternal role for him.
Oh, yeah.
He was there for Laurent when other people doubted him, offering an unwavering belief and support that you really need when you're going through something hard.
It's so crucial. It's almost as if Laurent's drawing strength from multiple sources of familial love.
Yeah.
The maternal, the paternal, even spiritual guidance that Marius provides. And you see how genuine their connection is, how much affection Marius has for Laurent.
You really feel it.
In Marius's emotional responses during the interview, it's not just words, it's real feeling.
Yeah, you can just tell. We can't talk about family without talking about Laurent's children.
Right.
Malo and Petula. And, it's clear he loves them deeply.
Uh-huh.
Even though they're going through some really difficult challenges in their relationship right now.
This is where the interview gets really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Laurent talks about this dream he had where he sees his children crying and he can't reach them.
It's a tough image.
It's a really poignant image.
Yeah.
It really drives home how painful this separation is.
It's clear he wants to be with them. He wants to reconnect.
Yeah.
He talks about all the sacrifices he's made for them over the years, emphasizing what a dedicated father he's been.
Right.
But you get this sense that external forces, this craziness, as they call it,
Right.
has created this barrier between them.
Yeah. It seems like this craziness is really at the heart of all the family's pain.
Yeah.
Laurent uses some really strong language,
Right.
Talking about a sect brainwashing perversity.
Mm-hmm.
He really emphasizes that he wants to protect his children.
Yeah.
And whether or not you agree with his assessment, you can tell that he feels this profound sense of injustice.
Right.
He believes that his children have been turned against him.
Yeah. And in the middle of all of this, he keeps coming back to the strength and values of his ancestors.
Yeah.
These hardworking, resilient people who instilled this strong sense of family in him. He talks about their history of entrepreneurship, wartime heroism, their connection to France's industrial past.
It's quite a legacy.
It is. And it's a legacy he seems determined to uphold.
Like he's drawing inspiration from them
Yeah.
to help him get through this.
And it all leads back to this one plea.
Uh-huh.
This craziness has to stop.
They all want it.
They're all yearning for peace, for healing, for a chance to rebuild these family bonds that have been so strained and broken.
That's what they're longing for, that sense of normalcy, that safe haven that family is supposed to be.
Yeah. And that's what makes this interview so powerful.
It really is.
It's not about Laurent Chenot, the public figure. It's about a man who loves his family deeply.
Yeah.
And is fighting to protect and preserve those connections.
And that's a story that anyone can connect with. Anyone who understands what family means, the strength of those bonds, and the pain that comes with seeing them threatened. What really got to me is how this plea for peace, for things to go back to normal, it's not just this vague idea.
Yeah.
They specifically connect it to Laurent's kids, Malo and Petula. Remember that dream Laurent described?
Yeah.
Seeing his kids crying and not being able to reach them.
Heartbreaking.
It's even more heartbreaking when you hear Marius, his spiritual father, talk about how often Laurent tells him he misses them, how much it hurts him to be away from them. It's like we get this window into Laurent's private grief.
You really do.
The pain of being separated from his kids. It's not just some legal battle,
It's more than a custody dispute, yeah.
It's a father who deeply misses his children.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Marius even says, it breaks my heart every time I think about it.
It's powerful.
You can hear the compassion, the empathy in his voice.
You really can.
Like he's sharing Laurent's sorrow.
And it reminds you that, they're not just these individuals caught up in some kind of abstract conflict.
Right.
They're part of this larger web of relationships.
Exactly.
And this separation is causing pain for everyone.
Oh, family's hurting.
Béatrice, Laurent's mother, she adds to this plea too.
Uh-huh.
She talks about how badly she wants her son to be back with his kids.
Yeah.
For that relationship to be restored.
For him to be happy.
It's a mother's plea,
Yeah.
And it just shows how much love and concern there is in this family.
It's not just about Laurent's pain. It's about how it affects everyone who loves him.
Exactly. And this desire for healing, for rebuilding what's been broken, everyone seems to share it.
Yeah.
They all want a future where they can be together again.
Without the pain, without the separation.
Without all of that hurt. But they also acknowledge, there are obstacles.
Uh-huh.
There are things that need to change before any real healing can happen.
Right. And this is where they start to get more specific about this craziness they keep mentioning.
Right.
They name names, they point to people and groups they believe are responsible for driving a wedge between Laurent and his kids.
And it gets pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. Some serious accusations are made.
They use terms like obsessed with power, money, drugs, and sex.
Wow.
They even suggest that these people are part of a sect.
A sect.
That's brainwashed Laurent's children.
It's heavy stuff.
It is, and we have to acknowledge these are serious allegations.
Yeah, for sure.
We can't verify them without more evidence.
We need to be careful.
But you can't ignore the raw emotion, the conviction in their voices.
They absolutely believe what they're saying.
They do. And they're willing to say it publicly, which tells you how strongly they feel.
They're risking a lot by doing that.
It shows how much this means to them.
They feel like they have to speak out, no matter what.
Even if there are consequences.
And in this context, their plea for the craziness to stop takes on this whole other level of meaning.
It's not just some vague negativity.
Right, it's not just general discord.
They're talking about specific actions and influences that they believe are hurting their family.
Yeah, it's a direct call.
It is. It's a call to the people they believe are responsible.
A call to step back.
To let healing and reconciliation happen.
To allow them to be a family again.
It's a cry for peace, but it's also a demand for accountability.
And this is where you see the family's strength, their resilience.
Even with all the pain, all the challenges.
They haven't given up hope.
No. They're fighting for what they believe in.
For the chance to rebuild.
To reclaim that love and connection they've lost.
They still believe love can conquer anything.
And that's a message that resonates with everyone.
It does.
It speaks to this universal desire, for love, belonging, connection.
That need for family.
And how powerful family can be.
Even in the face of adversity.
Hearing them talk so openly, it's really moving. It makes you think, what would it actually take for them to rebuild, to heal after all of this?
Well, they give us some clues.
Yeah.
The first thing is acknowledging the pain.
Right.
Recognizing how much this has hurt their relationships. It's not about placing blame. necessarily.
Right.
It's about acknowledging the damage that's been done.
You can't move forward if you pretend it didn't happen.
Exactly. It's like, trying to build on a broken foundation.
You can't do it.
And then there's the issue of, Laurent's children being able to make their own choices.
Right, right.
Laurent feels very strongly that they haven't been free to form their own opinions.
Without being influenced, yeah.
So creating a space for them to connect genuinely, independently, that seems crucial.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's not just about, like, physically bringing them back together.
Right.
It's about fostering an environment where they can actually rebuild those relationships.
Authentically.
Yeah, authentically.
Yeah.
Based on mutual respect and understanding.
Exactly. And to do that, they might need some help.
Like outside help.
Yeah, like mediation, therapy, family counseling. These are really complicated situations.
Yeah.
They might need support to navigate these conversations in a way that's healthy,
To make it productive.
Exactly. And of course, there's this big issue of the craziness they keep talking about.
Right.
Whether it's specific people or bad influences or a combination of things.
It needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, for real healing to happen, that needs to be addressed.
It's like trying to heal while someone keeps picking at the wound.
Exactly. They need that space, that freedom from the negativity, from the manipulation, to let the healing process actually begin.
Wow. This deep dive has been, like, eye-opening.
Yeah.
It really reminds you that even with all the turmoil, all the personal challenges, the love in a family can be so powerful.
It really is. It makes you realize, behind all the headlines, all the public stuff,
Right.
there's this very human story.
Yeah.
A story of love, loss, and just this deep, deep longing for connection.
And it challenges you to look beyond the surface.
It does. Laurent's story really shows us how complex family relationships can be.
They really are.
The unwavering support from his mom, the guidance from his spiritual father,
Yeah.
the deep love he has for his children, the strength he gets from his ancestors.
It's a story that speaks to all of us, I think.
It does.
Anyone who values family, who gets how important those bonds are.
And who understands the pain when those bonds are threatened.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe it can encourage all of us to look at things a little differently, to be a little more understanding, a little more compassionate.
Yeah, to those who are struggling.
And maybe it can even inspire us to think about our own families.
What can we do to strengthen those bonds, to heal the hurts, to build each other up? Because at the end of the day, family is everything.